Our protagonist, Franklin, is a highly enthusiastic techie with his own blog, but works as a frisking guard. He is always late to his work, and his manager always finds him guilty for his ethics. He is also not good at his job, but he is in love with Jayla, his co-worker. After their shift, he asks Jayla to go on a date with him, and Jayla agrees. Franklin asks her for her phone number, but Jayla takes his phone to just update his alarm, reminding him about their date in the evening. Andy is Franklin's tech-savvy friend who also helps Franklin with all the illegal tech. One day, Franklin badly wants to attend a presentation by Mr. Burrell, the greatest scientist of their time. His friend Andy helps him get into the presentation by providing a fake wristband. When Franklin enters the presentation through the back gate, he sees Mr. Burrell conducting the presentation. While he is enjoying the presentation, one of the fake security guards barges onto the stage and tries to kill Mr. Burrell. At the same time, Franklin pushes a shelf onto the attacker to save Mr. Burrell. Cops arrive and apprehend the attacker. They also discover that Franklin has a fake wristband. As the investigator questions him, Franklin gets his hand treated and surrenders the wristband to the investigator, who then leaves. Amidst all of this, Franklin notices a black pearl ring fallen on the stage. He quickly grabs it and sees Mr. Burrell leaving in his car. Instead of giving it to Mr. Burrell, he mistakenly touches the black pearl on the ring, and the whole incident rewinds back to when the investigator is leaving him. While this is happening, his alarm goes off, reminding him about his date with Jayla. He rushes to the restaurant and waits for her. The waitress, while taking the order, mistakenly touches the ring, and again, time rewinds. This time, since he is aware of the power associated with the ring, he tries to check it by looking at the time and touching the black pearl. But the ring doesn't work, as it needs to recharge after every touch. This time, he hides the ring from the waitress and calculates the time required for the black pearl to recharge. Meanwhile, Jayla visits him in the restaurant, and they both share a moment. When they both end up at Franklin's apartment, Jayla notices a woman's purse in his closet and stops him to ask if he has a girlfriend. She tries to leave, but Franklin quickly uses his ring to go back in time. This time, he closes the closet to hide the purse. Again, at the same moment, Jayla notices a photo of a girl and asks if he has a girlfriend. Instead of answering the question, Franklin again uses his ring. So that night, every time she asks him to do things, Franklin uses his ring power to go back in time and do it before she could ask, making her happy throughout the night. The next morning, he wakes up to reality, where his car gets towed by the bank for not paying the loan. Later in the day, he sees an advertisement for a casino on TV and decides to pay a visit. Now, he decides to unleash the full power of the ring. In his first bet, as soon as he sees the number, he uses his ring to guess the correct number. He keeps winning, and the casino's security observes him. With all that money, he buys a brand new car, and the next time he visits the casino, he does the same trick to make more money. This time, the casino's security attacks him, and Franklin tries to use the ring but gets caught every time. Even after using the ring, the security of the casino lets him go, warning him never to come back. He then invites Jayla to his new apartment and shows off his new car. While doing this, he gets a call from Mr. Burrell to visit him, and Mr. Burrell gifts him with 2 new wristbands. Even then, Franklin doesn't talk about the ring. Later, he goes for a job interview, and his potential boss asks him if he can predict the future. Franklin immediately uses his ring powers and tells him that his girlfriend will come and kiss him on the neck. It happens exactly as he said. His boss is impressed and hires him for the job. On his first day at work, his boss sends a beautiful girl to his office to seduce him and get him to reveal his secrets about his predictions. Franklin understands but keeps his calm. The next day, when they are all at a party at a casino, he again places the dice and predicts the outcome exactly as it should be using his ring powers. His boss again becomes envious of his success and becomes more desperate to know his secret. While Franklin and Jayla are dancing together, an intruder attacks his boss and kills everyone, including Jayla. Franklin quickly uses his ring power and smashes the intruder. He becomes more famous for saving his boss's life. In gratitude, his boss invites him for a drink and drugs him. He then puts him in a room with many pretty women to seduce him while recording all of it. His boss shares that video with Jayla, and now Franklin has a fight with Jayla and she leaves him. Now, Franklin wishes to take revenge on his boss. He returns to the office and remembers the secret locker in the secretary's room. He goes to the secretary and asks her for the code to the locker by showing her a gun, but she screams for security. He uses the ring powers and starts again, but this time, by mistake, he keeps his palm on a pin and accidentally shoots the secretary. Again, he uses the ring, goes straight next to the secretary, covers her mouth, and asks her to write the code on the paper. She writes the code, but it's the wrong one. Franklin touches the ring again, gets a pillow, places it on her lap, and shoots her leg while covering her mouth. Due to the pain, she gives the correct code. food. Later in the day, when the secretary is out, he goes to her office and unlocks the safe. He steals all the information about his boss, including all of his illegal activities. He sends them to his friend Andy to publish on the big screen in the stadium right before the basketball match. He also sends his friend a substantial amount of money for helping him. He then watches the game on his TV, and the whole world witnesses the atrocities of his boss on the big screen. Before leaving the country, he thinks it's best for everyone if the ring gets destroyed. So, he breaks the ring to leave happily with Jayla.